From aeronautical engineer to monk, the question that changed everything. Let me ask you something. Have you ever gotten exactly what you wanted and then stood there wondering why it did not feel the way you thought it would? I have. I was not always a monk. There was a time not that long ago when I was an aeronautical engineer. I had a plan, most of us also do. Study hard, get the degree, build the career, create the life, and on paper everything was working nicely. The plan was executing perfectly. But here is the thing about plans. They don't tell you what to do with the quiet moment, late at night when the day is done, the work is done, the calls are done, and you sit with your own self and something inside you whispers, "Is this it?" That was my life. Nothing was wrong, truly, nothing was wrong, but something felt completely different. There was this gap between what my life looked like, what it felt like, and I didn't have a word for it. I didn't know what to call it. I just knew it was there. Then in 2010, someone gave me a book, the Bhagavad Gita, Divine Bhagavad Gita as it is. I almost didn't read it. I had a full life. I had things to do. But one evening I opened it and I kept reading, not because it was easy. It wasn't, but because for the first time in my life, someone was giving me answers to the questions I had never even said out loud. Why do people who have everything still feel restless? Why do we keep repeating the same emotional patterns? Why does achievements feel like relief for a week and emptiness the week after? What is the actual purpose of all these efforts? The Gita was not giving me philosophy. It was giving me a mirror. And I didn't like everything I saw in it, but I could not look away. You see, I had spent years learning how engine works, how aircraft works, how complex systems are designed and maintained, but no one had ever taught me how the mind works, how desire works, how attachment works, how karma works. I was highly trained in the external world and completely untrained in the internal one. That book started changing that slowly. I became involved with ISKCON's youth programs, and what I encountered there stopped me cold. These were not people merely discussing spirituality as a hobby or as a weekend interest. They were living it, applying it, testing it against real life. For the first time, I saw ancient wisdom being treated not as mythology, but as practical science of living. One decision led to another. The engineer became a student of the Bhagavad Gita. The student became a teacher of Gita. The teacher became a monk. And people always ask me the same question when they hear this story. They say, "But didn't you leave everything behind?" And I tell them the truth. Satya batata hu. I didn't leave anything behind. I found something I had not known I was looking for. For more than 15 years now, I have been studying the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, teaching it to the college students, working professionals, business owners, leaders, sitting with people in their most difficult moments, the moments they don't talk about publicly, the decisions they can't share on a call, the questions they carry alone. And what I have seen over and over is this: the most restless people are not the ones who have failed. They are the ones who have succeeded and then discovered that success didn't bring what they thought it would. They have the career, the company, the recognition, sometimes the wealth, and still the question comes, now what? What next? Why am I not peaceful? What is the right decision? How do I keep going without losing myself? These are not weak questions, my dear friends. These are the bravest questions a person can ask, because answering them requires something far harder than strategy. It requires turning inward. And I must say, the Bhagavad Gita was not spoken in a temple. It was spoken on a battlefield to a man who had achieved everything and collapsed under the weight of what it all meant. That man was Arjun, a warrior, a leader, a high achiever by every measure. And the guidance he received that day, that conversation between a confused man and a clear one became the most important book ever written on what it meant to live with purpose, act with dharma, and lead without losing your soul. That conversation is what I bring into the room. Every time I sit with a business owner who cannot sleep, every time I sit with a founder facing a decision, I bring that conversation, because the greatest journey any of us will ever take is not from one city to another or from one achievement to another. It is from confusion to clarity, from restlessness to stillness, from achievement to meaning. The most important question in life is not what are you doing, it is what are you becoming. That question changed my life, and if you are hearing, perhaps it is already beginning to change yours. Thank you. Hare Krishna.